I hadn't seen his face in 5 years. And yet, there he was standing outside my apartment like no time had passed. Hair longer, eyes heavier, body more sculpted with pain and time. My ex. My first heartbreak. The man who shattered me and now stood like he wanted to save me. "Hi, Maya," he said, voice low, familiar. Dangerous. I didn't say a word, just stared. Part of me wanted to scream. Another part wanted to crumble into him. "What are you doing here, Liam?" I finally asked. The name still burned in my throat. "I heard about your dad. I shouldn't have stayed away." His voice cracked on the last word. That was the thing about Liam, he always showed up when I was breaking, just never when I needed him to stay. I let him in. Stupid? Maybe. But grief dulls logic. He walked through the apartment like it was a memory. His eyes landed on the framed photo of my parents. "I'm sorry," he whispered, more to the room than to me. I nodded. Didn't trust myself to speak. Didn't want him to hear how fragile I was. We sat on opposite ends of the couch, silence pressing between us. He looked at me with that gaze, the one that used to unbutton my resolve. He hadn't lost it. "You look different," he said. "Grief does that." It came out colder than I intended. He nodded, jaw clenched. "You're still beautiful, Maya." My heart betrayed me. It fluttered. "You don't get to say that anymore," I whispered. "Not after the way you left." He looked down, shame in every breath. "I didn't leave because I stopped loving you," he said. "I left because I was afraid of becoming the man who'd ruin you." "You didn't ruin me," I said, voice shaking. "You just taught me how easily love can become a lie." Silence. Heavy, unforgiving. He moved closer slowly, carefully, like I was glass. "I came back because I realized I never stopped loving you." His hand grazed mine, and I hated how warm it felt. "I'm not the girl you left," I said. "I've learned to survive without you." "I don't want you to survive anymore, Maya. I want you to breathe." God, how did he still know what to say? I stood up before I let myself fall. "You should go." He looked up at me, those eyes, stormy, with regret. And for a second, I saw the boy I loved, the one who kissed my scars, the one who promised forever with trembling hands. "Okay," he said, "but I'm not giving up on us." He walked to the door, paused. "I'm staying in town, room 203 at the Meridian, in case you ever want to talk." Then he was gone again. But this time, he left a door open, and I hated how much I wanted to walk through it. I didn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw his face, heard his voice. Room 203 pulsed in my mind like a wound I couldn't stop touching. I told myself I wouldn't go, that I was stronger now, that I didn't need the kind of love that abandoned me. But by morning, my resolve cracked. So I went, just to talk, just to get closure. That's what I told myself. The Meridian was exactly as I remembered, fancy, sterile, distant. Liam always liked places like that. Places where nothing felt like home. I knocked, and the moment the door opened, I knew I had made a mistake. He stood there, shirtless, towel around his neck, like he hadn't expected me, but prayed I'd come. "Maya," he breathed, like I was some kind of miracle, and I hated how his voice, made my knees soft. I'm not here for what you think, I snapped. Then come in and prove me wrong. His arrogance hadn't changed, but neither had the way he looked at me like I was a fire he couldn't stop walking into. I stepped inside. The room smelled like hymnwood and citrus and memories. He offered me coffee. I refused. He sat on the edge of the bed, towel still, damp on his neck, eyes locked on mine. I can't stop thinking about you, he said softly. Not even for a second. Don't, I warned. Don't romanticize what we had. It ended for a reason. He nodded. I was the reason. No. His honesty disarmed me. You broke me, Liam, I said, voice cracking. And I put myself back together piece by piece. I can't let you come in here. And he stood suddenly in front of me. I'm not here to break you again. I'm here to prove I'm not that man anymore. I looked away. I had to. His fingers gently touched my chin, tilting it up. Do you still feel it? He whispered. Because I do. Every damn second. And then, without warning, he kissed me. It was slow, deep, like he was apologizing with his mouth, like he was begging for one more chance with every stolen breath. I should have stopped him, but instead, I kissed him back, because part of me still lived in that memory, the part he never gave back. When I finally pulled away, we were both breathless. I shouldn't have come here, I whispered. But you did. I grabbed my bag, heart racing. This changes nothing, I said, already lying to myself. As I left, I caught my reflection in the mirror by the door. Flushed cheeks, shaky lips, eyes full of something I thought I buried. It wasn't just lust. It was danger. Because Liam was no longer the boy who broke me. He was the man who still had the power to save me, or destroy me all over again. And I didn't know which one scared me more. I stayed away for 3 days. 3 days of convincing myself that the kiss meant nothing, that it was just grief, weakness, old comfort wrapped in familiar arms. But on the 4th night, it rained. The kind of rain that reminded you were alone. I was sitting by the window, staring at the drops as they raced each other down the glass. My father's photos sat on the shelf beside me. He would have told me to follow my heart, but my heart had a bad habit of choosing Liam. So when my phone buzzed, I didn't even hesitate. Liam, are you okay? I don't know why that broke me. I grabbed my coat. I didn't think. I just drove. By the time I got to the hotel, I was drenched, water soaking through my jeans, hair stuck to my face. He opened the door the moment I knocked. No shirt, just sweatpants and surprise in his eyes. Maya, he breathed, stepping back like he didn't want to startle me. What are you doing here? I don't know, I whispered. I just didn't want to be alone. He didn't ask questions. He just pulled me into him. And for the first time in what felt like years, I let myself be held. He wrapped a towel around me, sat me on the bed, and turned on soft music in the background, something old and jazzy. The kind of thing we used to dance to in our tiny apartment, barefoot and in love. Want tea? He asked gently. I nodded. He moved around the room with a kind of ease I had forgotten, like taking care of me was muscle memory. I watched him, wondering how the same hands that held me so gently once let me go. He handed me the tea, then sat beside me, Close but careful. I didn't expect you, he said, voice low, but I hoped. I looked at him. This doesn't mean anything. I just didn't want to be alone. Okay, he said. Even though we both knew it meant everything, we sat in silence for a while. The only sound was the rain outside and the record spinning inside Dot. And then he said it. I never stopped loving you, Maya. I tried. God, I tried. But you're in my skin. You're in my bones. I closed my eyes. Don't say that unless you mean it. I do. I mean it in every way. I didn't back then. I set the tea down and stood, walking toward the window. I spent years putting up walls, I said, learning to be strong, alone. And now you show up and suddenly everything feels soft again, unsafe. He came up behind me slowly, arms brushing mine. You were never meant to do life alone. Not the way you love. I turned to face him and something in me just broke wide open. I kissed him, fierce, desperate, like I wanted to forget every moment without him. And he kissed me back like he was starving for years. It wasn't careful. It wasn't planned. It was fire and apology, lust and love tangled in one breathless moment. We fell back onto the bed, limbs tangled, sheets a blur. And for that night, we stopped pretending we were strangers. He held me after, fingers tracing the shape of my shoulder like it was art. Tell me to stay, he whispered. And I will. I didn't answer. Because the truth was I didn't want him to stay out of guilt or nostalgia. I wanted him to stay because he chose me, not because I was broken again. And I didn't know yet if that's what this was. So I closed my eyes and let sleep come. But in the back of my mind, I knew this wasn't just a relapse. It was a beginning. One that could either save us or ruin me for good. Morning came too soon. I woke up tangled in Liam's arms, the scent of him still clinging to my skin woodsy, warm, devastating. He was still asleep, one hand on my waist like he was afraid I'd disappear again. Maybe I should have. I slipped out of bed quietly, picked up my jeans from the floor, and stared at myself in the mirror. Last night had felt like magic. This morning, it felt like a test I wasn't ready for. I wasn't that girl anymore, the one who gave her whole heart away for free. He stirred as I zipped my jeans. You're leaving. I need to think, I said without turning around. Maya. His voice was soft, gravelly from sleep. Talk to me. I turned. He looked vulnerable, beautiful, real. But I couldn't afford to fall again without knowing where we stood. I need to know what this is, I said. What we are. He sat up, blanket falling from his chest. We're two people who never stopped loving each other. Love isn't enough, Liam. I snapped. You taught me that. He flinched. I know I hurt you. But I'm here now. Being here now doesn't erase the years you weren't. He stood, walked toward me slowly. I left because I was a coward. I thought walking away would protect you from the mess I was. You didn't protect me, I said, voice breaking. You abandoned me. He exhaled, eyes glistening. I've been trying to fix that every second since. We stood there, years of pain and longing crashing in silence between us. I want to trust you, I whispered. Then let me earn it, he said. I left before I could say anything else. I needed space. Because letting someone back in after they shattered you wasn't love. It was war. Back at my apartment, I tried to distract myself with work, with tea, with silence. But silence only screamed louder. That night, I got a call from Rachel, my best friend. "You let him back in," she gasped. "It was just one night," I muttered. "You don't do just one night with Liam. He's either your everything or your ruin." I didn't respond. She wasn't wrong. Later, I sat at the kitchen table, wine glass half full, mind racing. Then the knock came. It was Liam. In the rain again, soaked, broken, holding something in his hand. A box. "What's that?" I asked, guarded. He stepped inside, placed it on the table. "It's everything I never said," he said. "Letters, notes, things I wrote after I left." I stared at the box like it was radioactive. "I don't want your guilt, Liam." "It's not guilt," he said. "It's truth." He turned to leave. I just thought, maybe if you read them, you'd understand why I left and why I had to come back. Then he was gone. I stood there, trembling, the box glowing like a second chance I didn't ask for. I opened the first envelope. "Maya, I saw a scarf in Paris that looked like your laugh." I cried in the middle of the store. "I hate myself for what I did to you. But I hate more that I can't stop loving you." Lee pressed the paper to my chest, and I knew this wasn't just about heartbreak anymore. It was about the kind of love that refuses to die. But the question was, could I love him again without losing myself? I didn't have the answer yet, but I knew where I had to go. I stood outside his hotel door again. Same hallway, same butterflies, same war in my chest. But this time, I wasn't running. I was choosing. The box of letters sat in the passenger seat of my car. Some opened, some not. I didn't need to read them all. The ones I did were enough. Not because they fixed the past, but because they made one thing clear. He never stopped loving me. He just didn't know how to love himself when I did. I knocked. No hesitation this time. Liam opened the door in seconds like he'd been waiting. "Maya." His voice caught. "You read them?" "Some." I stepped in. My eyes never left his. "You poured everything into those words," I said. "Things I needed to hear a long time ago." "I know it's late," he whispered, "but it's still true." I exhaled slowly. "You were my safe place once. Then you became the storm." "I became my own storm," he said. "I just didn't know how to keep you from drowning with me." We stood there, no space left between us but truth. "I don't want to go back," I said. "I don't want to pretend it didn't hurt." "Then let's start from here," he said. "Not from what we were, just who we are now." He reached for my hand. "I'm not asking you to forgive me," he said, voice cracking. "I'm asking if there's a version of the future where we don't give up on us." I looked down at our hands. His fingers trembled. "There might be," I said, "but only if you stop running when things get hard." "I'm done running," he said. "From you, from myself." And somehow, I believed him. He kissed me then, slow, steady, and real. Not like a man claiming something, but like a man who'd finally learned how to hold something precious without breaking it. We didn't rush it this time. We talked. We laughed, God. We even cried. He told me about therapy, about the guilt, about the nights he wrote those letters and never sent them. I told him about the loneliness, the nights I almost called, the people I dated just to forget his name. And when morning came, we were still lying there, wrapped in sheets, wrapped in possibility. He brushed my hair back, kissed my shoulder. "So what now?" he asked. I looked at him, the boy who left and the man who returned. "Now we take it slow," I said. "No promises, no illusions, just honesty and hope." He asked. I smiled. "Always hope." He nodded, kissed my forehead, and pulled me into him. And for the first time in years, it didn't feel like a mistake. It felt like breathing, not because he saved me, but because I had saved myself first. And now, loving him again wasn't about escape. It was about choosing where I belonged. And for now, maybe even forever, it was right here.